We will begin tonight's forum with candidates running for Ward 1. The candidates with us this evening include Mr. Dan Barks and Mr. Caleb Nygaard. And here is an introductory statement from our candidates. Candidates, you have 1 minute, and we'll start with Dan Barks.
Thank you. I'm running for the Gillette City Council Ward 1 because I want to help lead our community forward, and I would like to be involved in the decisions that guide this community. This has been my home, and I have worked directly for the people of this community in 2 fairly high-profile positions over the last 35 years. I've watched this city grow and prosper, and I want to continue that forward-leaning spirit that has made us the premier city in the state. I recently retired from my position of Camplex General Manager after 22 years. I currently serve the people of Gillette by sitting on the Gillette Regional Water Panel and by serving as the president of the Wyoming State Parks and Cultural Resources Commission. Because I have worked in a leadership role for both the city and Campbell County, I'm very familiar with both the personnel and the budgeting processes for both organizations. I believe I have the experience needed to serve as the City Council, and I have the time and the interest and the enthusiasm to help serve on this very important role in our community.
Thank you. Caleb Nygaard.
Well, thank you for having me. My name is Caleb Nygaard, and I've lived in the city of Gillette for the last 33 years. I've spent my youth in the local Boy Scout unit, Troop 64. It was a good time waiting to happen. I've also spent my later time in the local National Guard unit for 9 years. I've been married to a wonderful woman for 14 years, had 2 beautiful children. And basically, since their birth, I have wanted to see Gillette a place where they want to stay, grow up, and have fun, and learn lots. Thank you.
Thank you. Now for the first question. Each candidate has 1 minute to respond. Excuse me. What do you hope to accomplish if elected? And we'll start with Caleb Nygaard.
Very simply, I want to see the people of Gillette's money spent the way they want it spent. I want to make sure they have a strong voice in where their taxes are going in the projects of Gillette. That's all. Thank you.
Dan Barks.
Well, certainly we need to continue to be fiscally responsible, and I think the City Council has done a good job of that. One of my primary concerns, and certainly not the leading concern, is the appearance of the community. And I will work for some type of organizational assistance to do that, either through the Parks Department or through possibly the Sheriff's Office and their work release program. But we need to do something more there, and somebody from the council pushing that, I think, will help expedite that whole process.
Thank you. Now we will move on to our second question. Each candidate has 1 minute to respond, and the other candidates will be given 30 seconds for a rebuttal. We will begin with Mr. Barks. What changes in law enforcement do you see needed to deal with the social issues in a rapid growing community?
Well, certainly if we continue to grow rapidly due to the mineral industry, I think history has proven, not only in Gillette but other rapidly growing communities, that social issues and problems occur. I think we need to make sure the police department is funded and make sure that social services are funded to take care of some of those social issues that come with the good part of a fast-growing community.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Nygaard, you have 30 seconds to rebut.
Could I have the question one more time, please?
Yes. What changes in law enforcement do you see needed to deal with the social issues in a rapidly growing community?
I don't see any real need in changes in law enforcement. I want to make sure they stay funded properly so that they can get what's needed to take care of the community. Social things that we need in the community, I believe we can fund a little bit, but I believe private entity is a much better way to go in the way of social assistance. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is for Mr. Nygaard. In your questionnaire, you mentioned that you would like to, quote, balance the budget in a way that would allow us to lower taxes and rates without cutting back on services or projects. How do you plan on doing this?
My first thought was to go through the budget, make sure that we have the money going where it's allotted, that we have everything we need paid for in a timely manner, and that we're not spending money on wants instead of needs, to make sure we have infrastructure built, and that we have the ability to take care of ourselves first. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nygaard. Now, Mr. Barks, you have 30 seconds for rebuttal.
Repeat the question for me, please.
Certainly. In your questionnaire, you mentioned that you would like to, quote, balance the budget in a way that would allow us to lower taxes and rates without cutting back on services or projects. How do you plan on doing this? Of course, this was Mr. Nygaard's questionnaire that we're talking about.
Certainly. I've worked with the city staff for years in budgeting through Camplex, certainly, and I know that the city council and the staff guard that budget carefully. I don't know that there is any particular instance that needs to be looked at. I think it's important that the council make sure the staff is aware that we have to maintain a budget and stay within the budget, but that oversight is the council's responsibility.
Thank you. We will now move on to closing remarks. Candidates, you have up to 1 minute for closing remarks or to address any topics that were not covered in the questioning period, and we'll begin with Caleb Nygaard.
Well, in closing, I would certainly like to say that Gillette is a wonderful community. I would like to see it grow. I'd like to see the infrastructure laid down so that it can grow to be a large community where people from, for example, Casper and Rapid City want to come. I'm a very business and personal friendly type person. I believe in personal responsibility. I don't see the need for too much government oversight. I believe that what you do within reason is perfectly okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Barks.
The city has a number of very professional documents. One of them is this one, the Gillette Plan, and in here, part of the community vision, it says our Gillette community is friendly for families, supports active lifestyles, and is attractive and aesthetically pleasing. Gillette city government is financially responsible, provides quality customer-friendly service, and has first-class infrastructure and facilities. These are great words on a piece of paper, and they're important, but we need to give them life and bring them to life through the decisions that this council and the staff makes. On paper is only part of it. Other than that, I love this place. I came to Gillette in 1976 to be director of Parks and Recreation for the county, and I was going to work here 3 years and move on. Here I am 35 years later wanting to serve our community more. I retired to Gillette after working here all of my professional career. I have the experience, certainly, and the energy to help guide us forward, and that's what I want to do.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
This concludes the Ward 1 part of our primary election candidates forum. I would like to remind you that tonight's candidates forum will air several times before the primary election on August 19th. For a complete listing of the GPA TV schedule, please visit their website at www.gillettewy.gov/GPA. We will take a short break while the candidates from Ward 2 take their positions. We will be back in 5 minutes.